He was the leader of our family. He was 6'5", 250 pounds, strong, could pick all three of us up at the same time. And he went from that, to gone.
The news had been staggering for Jennifer. The 16-year-old had just come from a missions trip, only to find her dad in a wheelchair, the victim of a car accident that would leave him paralyzed for life.
I felt numb. I avoided the hospital at all costs. I felt like if I just don't deal with this, maybe it's not happening.
The trip had inspired Jennifer to go into the missions field. Now, she questioned everything she believed about a loving God.
I thought, really? If this is what you're gonna give your children who love you and who are trying to do good for you, then I don't want anything to do with you.
Jennifer's mother started drinking heavily, leaving her 3 daughters to find ways to cope on their own.
She wasn't there for us. She was a nervous, worrisome, anxiety-driven wreck.
As for Jennifer, she stopped going to church altogether and took to drinking with friends. But she poured most of her time and energy into school.
So that became my focus. It was a perfectionism-driven, I'm gonna succeed and achieve now.
Her efforts got her a scholarship to Rutgers, where she continued to succeed. Then, just before graduation, her parents divorced, and she went to live with and care for her dad. She graduated, but her occasional drinking became a regular ritual.
I didn't want to feel pain. I didn't want to cry over my dad. I didn't want to cry over my family. I didn't want to feel that loss and that pain, so I just covered it up.
Then her younger sister moved in just off a stint in drug rehab. Unwilling to give up her habit, she dragged Jennifer down into her world of addiction.
She quickly convinced me to start sneaking into my dad's room at night and taking his synthetic heroin, Oxycontin.
Jennifer started shooting up heroin and eventually meth.
It makes you feel like it's the missing link, like it's the piece to your puzzle that you've been searching for your whole life. It is so overwhelming and strong, and nothing compares to that feeling, that rush.
For 6 years, Jennifer moved around going from job to job, having run-ins with the law and fighting addiction.
I was running from God. Little pieces of me started to fade away, and I became completely numb, desensitized to anything going on around.
During that time, she made several attempts to rehab.
So there would be moments when I would kind of snap out and be like, this is not what I want for my life. I did have a desire to get married and be a mom and have my own family someday.
While Jennifer was willing to go into rehab, she dismissed any notion of asking God for help.
Why didn't I think Jesus would fix me at any point in my using years? Because I didn't think he was good. I didn't think he loved me enough to pick up the broken pieces and put me back together. I was broken and I didn't think he could make me whole.
At 26 years old, addicted and out of work, Jennifer had run out of options.
Really hit another bottom, a low low. Tired of life. Tired of using, tired of not having money, tired of being in a fog, tired of not feeling well physically, tired of being scared.
A year earlier at her older sister's wedding, one of Jennifer's aunts told her about a healing ministry in Georgia. At the time, Jennifer didn't give it much thought. Now, it seemed like her only hope.
When I got there, I had skulls. Skulls on my shirts, skull rings, black dyed hair. I remember someone approaching me and saying, that's the spirit of death that you're wearing all over yourself. I sat in on that first session and felt the Holy Spirit for the first time in a long time, and God saying, your time is up. It's you and me now, and I've missed you, and you're my daughter, and I want you back.
For a week, Jennifer learned about God's love and power. She filled her notebook with teaching that transformed her life.
I broke down and I sobbed so hard, uncontrollably sobbing. And ladies came around and laid hands and hugged me and comforted me. And I honestly feel like I had demons from all of my drug abuse and that they were released in that prayer.
Jennifer recommitted her life to Christ, was baptized, and completely delivered from drugs. She returned home to New Jersey to serve time for a previous drug charge. In jail for 3 months, she learned more about God.
That's when I fell in love with Jesus again. It started in Georgia, but in jail, locked up, nothing else to do, confined, I felt free. I felt like life was gonna start. When I got out, the world was my oyster. Like, let's go, I'm back.
Once out of jail, Jennifer moved to Florida with her mother and within 3 months met her husband, Jason. On her wedding day, her dad was by her side giving her away. Today, she is the mother of 2 happy girls.
When I look in the mirror, I think of God's faithfulness. I was trying to fill the hole in my heart and the broken pieces from life with the world, but only the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit can fill that. So He filled that in me, and I find refuge in that and comfort, and I'm full.